You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Welcome to another episode of the OHL in 60 podcast. I'm Reece Doumani along with Colin Ward, and we are well into the new OHL season. I'd say pretty well every team but Ottawa. Ottawa's only played 4 games. That's an interesting start to their schedule, but everywhere else is like 5, mostly 6. There's a 7 and an 8 thrown in there as well, but for 19 teams, we are well into the new season. Ottawa, they'll catch up eventually. We looked at their schedule earlier today. It's
unique,
interesting, unique. Yeah. That's it'll be a fun conversation. We're going to talk about them a little bit later on, but we appreciate you tuning in every single week, whether you're watching us on the Armchair GM Sports Network, whether you're listening on whatever audio platform you love to listen to podcasts on. We do appreciate it every single week. And we will throw the topics up for you for people watching, for people listening. Of course, we'll read them out and you can listen to them. But we're going to go through some headlines from this last week. That's how we've started every single show. 4 trades happened between last week and this week. So that's a big topic of conversation to kick off the show. Captains continue to be named around the Ontario Hockey League. We'll discuss that. Players of the week were announced on Monday too. Windsor and Ottawa, currently 2 of the top dogs, a top dog, I should say, in each of their conferences. We'll discuss both of those teams and their starts. Windsor losing for the first time this season in Owen Sound on Sunday. Ottawa continues to roll. They're 4-0 heading into this week's action.
Balance attack.
Owen Sound. Yeah, big time, eh? Owen Sound, we're going to continue the conversation on them. Goaltenders setting records that you wouldn't think would be big news, but it is.
Point producer.
Carter George. Yeah, he's put him on the power play. Well,
quarterback it?
Technically he is if he's on the ice.
Reece, here's the play. Here's the new drop-off play.
Oh,
everyone go up almost like a flying V, and it's just like you're throwing up a Hail Mary. Just sauce one right up the middle, which you're told not to do as a goalie, but oh well, don't coaches just look away. And then you just sauce one right up the middle, right on the tape, breakout pass, easy, no need for the drop-off. Everyone stay up at the blue line. Let's have a day. Push for offense.
Or, because you mentioned the flying V, I was going to bring this up anyways. Carter George skates up to center, or you think it's Carter George. It's actually Russ Tyler, and he lets the knuckle puck go from center ice. So, I mean, there you go. Create some offense on the power play from the goaltender.
Oh yeah, I just think use a goal alley-oop play.
Oh yeah, that'd be wild. Oh
yeah,
man.
Those are the days.
Owen Sound's gonna miss Kaprowski for a game, or did that take place already? I could be wrong on that. Or Bedkowski, sorry. David Bedkowski is gonna miss one game. He'll be back October 11th. So yeah, that will be coming up this weekend. But so we'll touch on Owen Sound. They continue to roll early on in the year. And then the power rankings have come out, and it's long enough into the season. We're going to start doing our top 5 as we usually do to round out every show. We're going to get that going because we feel like it's pointless to do it after, 2 or 3 weeks. So we'll do it this week to do it, and it'll pretty well be the rest of the year when we get to it. So let's start with the headlines around the Ontario Hockey League. There have been a number of trades since we last spoke. I'll kind of list them off here, and then Colin, we can kind of go through them
Yeah, for sure.
one-on-one if we want to, or kind of what we overall think about some of these moves. But starting with the Peterborough Petes, they send Liam Lads to Sudbury for a 5th rounder in 2027. Funny enough, it's a Peterborough 5th rounder in 2027, so they get that pick back. The Brantford Bulldogs sending Joshua Avery to the Brampton Steelheads. He made an immediate impact in their lineup in his first game, collecting a goal and an assist. He goes to Brampton for Brampton's 3rd rounder in 2029 and Brampton's 5th rounder in 2029. I'm interested to know how long those picks stay with the Brantford Bulldogs moving forward. The North Bay Battalion send Charlie Laroque to Sarnia for Sarnia's 6th rounder in 2029. And then on Monday, Zach Wilson going from North Bay to Saginaw for Saginaw's 12th rounder in 2026. Colin, I would say the two big ones, big as in names, not necessarily the amount that was moved, would be Liam Lads to Sudbury and then Joshua Avery to the Brampton Steelheads. Let's start with Liam Lads. Peterborough, again, a team that is trying to be on the upward, trying to move up, trying to be better. They move Lads to Sudbury, and Sudbury, yes, they don't have a couple of key players right now, but they're expected to be back. We don't have timelines. We're not going to speculate when they're going to be back either, but Liam Lads goes up to Sudbury, and that should be an immediate help to the Sudbury Wolves.
Yeah, it should. They need a righty on the back end. That always helps for them. He's young, 6'2", 174, moves well. Lads gets an opportunity in Sudbury for sure to play right away. You would imagine he's going to be there. He's going to be upper echelon on their defensive core. Like, he's going to log a lot of minutes for them. It's a big get. He's never really been a high point guy. You go back to last year, 14 and 63, but first full season in the league. This year, we'll see what happens. But I like the deal for Sudbury. They need to make something happen. We talked about it on the last couple of weeks about Sudbury, and I feel bad for always beating on Sudbury Wolves fans. It's not that I'm beating on you. I just beat on the direction the team goes. We didn't agree with some of the decisions that were made. Going back to last year on January 10th, for instance. But I like this move. What is it, right? You're just giving back a 5th to the place that already had the 5th originally before you received it. So I think that I think it's a good deal for Sudbury. You get that opportunity. Lads gets the chance to play. Peterborough, they get Cameron back. They get guys back on their back end. We'll see what happens with them. I just think that getting an opportunity to play in Sudbury, he's going to play a lot of minutes in Lads. It's going to help you develop, and I just think that's a good deal for both sides. And Sudbury, they needed defense, right? Their defense can stop a nosebleed at times so far this year. So hopefully they can keep getting better, and hopefully this helps them. I'm intrigued to see them firsthand this weekend. I really am. I think that they're going to come out a lot harder this weekend than weekends past. Now that this is kind of their team, they still have guys out, but this is kind of their team. In the direction they're going, this is it. So let's see what happens.
And it's another 3-3 upcoming for the Sudbury Wolves as well. 2 early on for them, so that'll be another challenge to say the least. Because this time, instead of going Windsor, Sarnia, or was it London, Sarnia? I think it was London, Sarnia. And then, anyways, Western Conference, Windsor, and then to Brantford. This time, it's Brantford to Erie and St. Catharines afterwards. So it's a tough couple of 3-3s for the Sudbury Wolves. They're getting tested early, still looking for that first win of the season. So expect Lads to hopefully be a difference maker for them moving forward. And then Joshua Avery going to Brampton for a couple of picks. I mentioned it from the Brantford side. I have a hard time seeing those picks staying in Brantford for much longer. Obviously, unless a deal doesn't work out and they end up keeping them. But Joshua Avery goes to the Brampton Steelheads. Like I said, a goal and an assist in his first game as a Steelhead. And it's a situation, we were talking about this on the Dogcast this week, Colin, that he is, there's just no room for him in Brantford. A guy that is in his 3rd year in the Ontario Hockey League. At that point, you want to start seeing more consistent time in the top 6. Not like you're going to get regular time, but he's looking for a little bit more consistency in a top 6 role, and it's just not there this year for the Brantford Bulldogs, right? It's something that the team just said, hey, we can't guarantee it. And they might have talked about potentially moving him. Maybe he wanted to get into that role. Who knows? We don't know. But Avery will consistently play in the top 6 in Brampton. I expect him to play in the top 6 in Brampton because he does have some talent. He had a really good look at rookie camp, development camp for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and we heard nothing but good things from them about what he did. So he can go to Brampton. He can play a regular role and contribute offensively quite a bit for the Steelheads.
He's going to play a high in the lineup role for them, and that's going to be huge. I mean, Josh Avery dictates the forecheck whenever he's on there. He's a big attack player. He's get off the rush. He's fast. He's improved a lot on his skating throughout the summer. I mean, he's always a good skater. Going back to his draft year when the Bulldogs drafted him, I remember chatting with him when he came into the facility for the first time and talking to Matt Turek about him, and the former Bulldogs general manager. And you talked to him about Josh Avery, and Josh Avery ran their power play in that minor Pete's team. You know, he was a big offensive threat for the Pete's in that minor Pete's program in his draft year. I mean, the Bulldogs were excited to get him in the 3rd round when they did. I mean, it was kind of a surprise for when he came into the facility that he was available. He's been, I mean, he never had the opportunities in Brantford. He's been good in the opportunities that he was in. He was really good in the face-off dot. I think this is a good move for Brampton. I really do. I think Josh Avery in Brampton is going to be really good. I spoke with general manager of the Bulldogs, Spencer Hyman, about the deal, and he mentioned about it's just one of those deals where guys played good. Guys at camp just improved a lot. I mean, and we talked about it earlier on the Dogcast that Lane Gallagher, for instance, at Oshawa, that kid last year, I mean, the growth that he put on throughout the summer between last year and this year is phenomenal. And it's one of the best parts about covering the Ontario Hockey League. When we see guys come into every camp, every team, there's guys that come into camp that leave the previous season and then they come in a different person. It's like, oh, who are you? Yeah. Oh yeah, hey, nice to see you, Lane. That's kind of Lane Gallagher for the Bulldogs. He's become that 4th line center. He's a staple in there, and Josh Avery's kind of too good to be a 4th line center. I mean, he's a mid to older player now in the Ontario Hockey League. He's going to go to Brampton. He's going to dictate their rush. He's going to be really good in the Richmond system. I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he's going to be a big point guy for them. It might be one of those deals down the road where, hey, Bulldogs are probably going to wish that, hey, maybe we should have got one more pick, maybe a second as a conditional. That's how good I can see this deal working out for Brampton. I think this is a really good deal for the Brampton Steelheads. I love everything about Josh Avery's game. I think he can be physical when he has to. He's shown this year so far that he can put the puck in the back of the net and make plays. Him on the rush, I mean, that's where he's going to make his money. He's so good on the rush and in the dots. If he becomes a pro in the face-off dot, he's going to be a professional hockey player just because guys are looking for centers that can win draws at any given moment, and that's what Josh Avery can do for the Brampton Steelheads. I'm really excited to see what they can do. They got a worker there for sure. The Steelheads already work hard this year. He's just going to add to it, so it's going to be exciting to see what he can do.
Next up, Charlie Larocque going to Sarnia. Colin, what are the Sting getting in Mr. Larocque?
Getting a goal. Yeah, you're getting a guy that I think that you're going to get the opportunity to play net. And obviously Mike McIver is going to be the guy in North Bay. He's the guy for North Bay, and I think he's most underrated goaltender in the Ontario Hockey League this year. I think right away when you go to OHL goalies, you think about the Georges, you think about the Leaners, you think about all these stars, but Mike McIver last year for North Bay, including in the playoffs, how good he was for them in the postseason in those 5 games for North Bay. In the playoffs, he was unbelievable for them. He was their MVP back there. And I think that this is the opportunity now for North Bay. You're making your roster. You have your goaltending situation being what it is. Larocque's name came available. And if you're the Stings, you give him an opportunity, right? If you're starting to, you get the opportunity, you get a chance to play every night or every other night, that is, and you get the chance to play, to feel the ice a little more. You don't get cold. It's a good spot for both sides. It's a really good opportunity, though, for Larocque. It also, I mean, his numbers are what they are, but he hasn't shown bad. Like, if you watch him play, like, in person, you saw him a couple times. Like, when you watch him play, like, he moves well in the net, and, like, I think this could be a good move. I really do. Like, all these moves, man, looking back at it, like, you think about Lads for a 5th. What happens if he goes to Sudbury and becomes and gets the opportunity, gets to play regular minutes, and it's like, Sudbury just got a good player for a 5th after they gave up all that last year for guys like Noah Roberts. No offense to Noah Roberts, he's playing his best hockey of his OHL career right now with Owen Sound, but you could have had that for just a fifth, right? So Josh Avery and Brampton, like you just mentioned, I think that could be a really good deal. I think it could be down the road where the Bulldogs people could wish that, hey, I wish I got one more pick maybe, or a conditional pick, just because of how good that could work out for Brampton. And I just think this one, I mean, why not? Why not, right? Like, if you're Sarnia, you have the leverage in the deal, right? You know North Bay has to make the trade. You have the leverage there. Why not do it? So I'm excited to see what can happen here. It's so intriguing to watch these trades because every single season we see multiple of these trades that turn out to be, you gave all that for that. Like, I mean, heck, not to get too Brantford on us, sorry for non-Brantford fans, but like for us personally, being with the Bulldogs, we see it all the time. Owen Protz for Noah Van Vliet, we would have did that 1-for-1. I think 20 19 out of 20 general managers would have did that deal 1-for-1. I think, looking back at it, right? Like, maybe this is the one. So I'm excited to see what can happen. And I think this one, I mean, look at Costanzo going to Windsor. Like, he's going to be in goaltender of the year candidation for how good he's been. So, like, I just think that I'm excited to see what can happen. I love these types of trades. They're the nothing trades at time, quote unquote. They're the nothing trades, but these are the trades that you love to consume because you pay attention to them. And what happens if it turns into something? That's what wins you GM of the year and what makes you not GM of the year, the opposite of GM of the year. If you're able to pull these trades, that's doing your job as a general manager. And I'm really excited to see how this can happen. I just think it could be really cool. Like, if it turns into be something that's like, well, look at this, like, that gives you GM of the year candidates in my books.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, who knows about this next one with Mr. Wilson, Zach Wilson going to the Saginaw Spirit from the North Bay Battalion as well. We mentioned about Joshua Avery and he getting moved essentially because there's no room for him in the role he wanted to play. Sort of the same situation here with Wilson in North Bay. They've got 8 rostered defensemen. Eventually guys aren't going to want to be there anymore if they're sitting in the press box, right? And this might be that situation where you've got a guy who's an 18-year-old. First of all, for Saginaw, you're getting a dude that's 6'6". I'd want that on my blue line too. But also a guy that plays physical, plays hard, and for Saginaw, they're in an interesting spot right now because I wouldn't say they really sold last year. They were still a competitive team. They made moves to make themselves competitive. But then this year, Misa's on an opening night roster in San Jose, and you knew that was, I don't know, it's 50-50 too low, maybe 70-30 chance that he's on San Jose compared to coming back to Saginaw. So, again, as much as I love Windsor's defense and the fact that they've got one dude under 6 feet on their defense, I think that's awesome. Saginaw is getting that with Wilson standing 6'6".
Yeah, I like that about North Bay too. They got some big guys. They got some luck there with the NCAA agreement coming their way. They got some big-time American players coming in here that are big defense. And we saw that in the postseason last year too, Reece. Like, those guys, they got some big defense. I mean, obviously the numbers are what they are with Wilson, but he can have an opportunity in Saginaw. And it's one of those teams where who knows what happens with Perek. Like, these situations here, like, for them, like, you got 6'6" left-handed defenseman like that at 187. Who knows by the end of the year, like, where he's at shape-wise, but, like, you like those guys. They really clog up spaces, and I think it's worth it taking that risk. I mean, it's nothing really. He gave up for it, right? Like, for Saginaw, and that could be one of those moves, like you just mentioned. Like, it could be one of those moves where that's what wins you GM of the year. Like, it could be a robbery type deal on the Saginaw standpoint. In North Bay, you kind of had to make the move, right? You can't have a guy that's 6'6" like that. Obviously, he's going to be a defensive defenseman for what was a defensive defenseman for North Bay. You're not expecting him to light up the score sheet, but that's a defenseman. And I think that when you have that opportunity and you make the move, you don't have leverage in the deal if you're North Bay. And for Saginaw, it's a perfect type deal, right? They're a team that's kind of in the middle of the road. What are they? Are they going to be good this year? Are they going to be bad this year? What is Saginaw, right? Like, so I think that's going to be the type of move that you got to make right now to fill out your roster, see what you got, and then let's see what happens, right? It gives you a chance to make the dance, and that's all you got to do.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, I had mentioned Michael Misa's name. So let's get right to it. A couple of big OHLers on San Jose's opening night roster. that includes Sam Dickinson as well as Michael Misa, like I said. But those are two names. Dickinson, I think, was the favorite around the OHL media members for Defenseman of the Year. He'll obviously start the season with San Jose. Misa, again, like I said, I would say there's a better chance he's on San Jose than Saginaw this year. Again, who really knows? But what we're seeing them in the teal to start the year, and who knows what their chances are to come back,
They
right?
look
You
good in
get
the
your
teal.
9 games to see. Yeah, not bad, eh? Not a
They
bad
look
look.
good. Those
Yeah.
teal jerseys look good, BC. I know you like the
Yeah.
Sharks inside there. Like, those jerseys look good.
They look great, eh?
Yeah,
What do
they're
we
sharp.
What
that
do we
color.
think? Top 5?
Oh yeah,
Top 5
I like
jersey
that.
in the NHL?
For those
I like
watching on
the
YouTube,
stealth-
comment.
I like the stealth mode jerseys.
Yeah, only thing
Wow.
though, their center ice logo sucks. It's so bad. Oh my god. They tried to do
Sharks?
something cool and it looks terrible. San Jose center ice logo. If you have a chance, go look it up. I think it looks like crap. Just my personal opinion. But they kind of tried to not recreate because they didn't win the Stanley Cup and they've never won a Stanley Cup.
Thanks.
But like the Florida Panthers do with the Stanley Cup inside of the cup at center ice, or you see all these teams that are filling in their center ice with colors now. And the Wings obviously going back to Hockey Town with the
Love it.
100 for their 100th anniversary. It looks sick. Montreal, I know, went with the full circle. I think Ottawa has the full circle as well.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think Ottawa
Leafs
does.
logo's going black and white to celebrate their last cup too in '67. Sorry, Leaf fans. Had to get that one in there. You know it's all jokes. You know it's all jokes.
Sounds like
Not really though.
Sounds like he's going to be starting in
Facts.
the second line with Eklund.
But no, this is cool. And again,
Second.
as much as the London Knights want Sam Dickinson to come back, as much as the Saginaw Spirit want Michael Misa to come back, Jet Luchenko is starting the year with the Philadelphia Flyers. The ultimate goal, and I've said this numerous times, your ultimate goal is to get these guys to the NHL. If they're drafted and they get sent back to you, how do you get them to be an NHLer within a year or two? And that's exactly what the London Knights did. That's exactly what the Saginaw Spirit did with Misa. So, yes, it sucks. You might sell a few more tickets if Misa's in the building or if Dickinson's
For
in
sure.
the building. But at the same time, this is something you can add to your resume as a franchise. You can add to your Spirit and Knights alum in the NHL wall if you've got one of those, which I know most, maybe not most, but I know some teams have it. Niagara's actually looks really cool in that one hallway. I will say that. I do like the way Niagara has it set up, but that's what you can put on your resume, that you helped Misa get to the NHL. You helped Dickinson get to the NHL. Guelph Storm helped Luchenko get to the NHL, right? That's what you can put on your resume and on your wall up in your building. So yes, it sucks, but at the same time, you want to see these guys thrive at the next level.
Yeah, and you get the opportunity, right? Like, that's all. Like, these guys are too good right now. Like, back at Seneca with Anaheim.
Yeah.
You go that early, like, you can't, like, and that's Michael Misa. And BC, what were you saying about Misa? Where he's going to start?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Does Reece got me?
Yep.
I don't think Reece can hear me.
Well, where's he starting?
Second line with Toffoli and Eklund.
Okay, that's not bad. That's
Yeah.
not too bad. Reece, you here?
I don't got Brandon at all.
Okay. Well, he's starting with Eklund and Toffoli, BC was saying. So we'll figure that out in the break. But I got you.
Yeah.
If you're good. But that's not bad to start out on the second line and get the opportunity. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty good. I mean, you kind of got to throw guys out in the you got to give them the chance, right? You draft them second overall, you kind of got to play them. So I like that for San Jose.
Exactly. Like, and all of these
Salad
franchise. Yeah. Yeah. Like all of these franchise, San Jose, to be blunt, they're going to suck again. They are. Anaheim's going to suck, I think.
But they're going to be fun.
Why not put them in those roles? There's no reason not to. You're not going to shove a guy on the fourth line. What's the point of that? You're going to suck anyways. Throw them in top six. Who cares?
Can you imagine if San Jose ends up winning the lottery and gets McKenna?
Bruh.
McKenna, Celebrini, Smith, Misa. Wow, I know BC heard that one, but I just think that would be wild. So I think with San Jose, they're going to be fun to watch, even if they're not good. Like, they're going to be fun to watch. So that's kind of exciting. If you're a Sharks fan, you get to see this youth movement. But no, it's nice to see these guys from the O get the jump. A lot of guys, like obviously Matthew Schaefer, rightly so. But Matthew Schaefer, I know it's not up on here, but I want to touch on that, Reece. Matthew Schaefer has done and said all the right things on Long Island. Everything he's done has been right now. Like his quote that he had the media at the start of preseason hockey when he mentioned about when he got asked, are you willing to play on like this to be like the sixth defenseman, be the extra defenseman? He goes, yeah, I want to play in the NHL. Like I'm willing to do whatever helps my team. Like that's the stuff you want to hear. And obviously, the family well, Reece, like with his brother in Niagara, like that's pretty cool to see what Matthew Schaefer has done with the Islanders right away as number 1 overall pick. The impact he has had on them, even just in camp, has been incredible. And you got to be pumped for Schaefer. I mean, you see the little shootout goal that he had there in the preseason. Wow. Like I'm very intrigued to see what he does for the Islanders this year in a full season. Because like, it's unfortunate, like to be honest, in person, like for us with the Bulldogs, you only get to see him once a year in person at home, once in Erie. But it's like, it's unfortunate because we only got to see this guy play like once or twice, I guess, out of the 3. Like it's unfortunate, but Schaefer, like, man, the times we did see him play, like the impact he had on the ice every single shift. I mean, every time you watch him play on Flow Hockey now, formerly CHL TV, and you watch him play, I mean, every time he's on the ice, he makes an impact. I can't wait. With that skating ability, he's going to be so good in the Islanders. It'll be interesting to see what he's like in that system, though, right? They're not a big offensive system, the Islanders. They're defensive first, and I know he's a defensive guy. He's a defenseman, but he can contribute to offense, and he can probably run your power play week 1 for you. By November, December, he's going to be running their power play for the Islanders.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I don't expect anything out of the Islanders this year. So why not? Like, there's no reason not to put him there. Not to say that's going to help him get to be a number 1 quicker. But if, he might start as the 6th defenseman, but if you can put him in a position to succeed and potentially be your 3rd best defenseman by the end of the year, then that's a win, right? Again, I don't expect the Islanders to do a ton this year in the NHL, but you've got your number 1 overall stud. Put him in a position to succeed. Yes, it may take time. You might not see him be the 5th or 4th defenseman until March, but who cares? He wants to play in the NHL. Give him the shot to play in the NHL and learn at the NHL level, right? You can only learn so much. Whether you're playing in junior, whether you're playing in the American Hockey League, and a lot of times top 5, top 10 picks might not see the American Hockey League, but the best way to learn how to play in the NHL is to play in the NHL. And I think Schaefer is a prime example of that because he's missed so much time. I wouldn't say he got the full junior experience. He did, don't get me wrong, but he didn't play a full season in the Ontario Hockey League, right? And that's the part that also sucks. And yes, we speak here on the podcast about it, but as a fan of the Ontario Hockey League, you kind of wanted him to play a full season. 100%. Just you wanted to be greedy to see him play even more. So, again, he's going to learn how to play in the NHL and the NHL. That's the way the Islanders are going to see it, I'm sure. I'm not sure this is a 9 games. Let's go back to Erie. I think he is their 6th defenseman all season long.
I wonder, I would love him to play with a veteran defenseman who's a stay-at-home defenseman. The Islanders have a lot of those guys. I would love to see him on that spot where he has a chance to play his game, because you got to play his game. You got to call him up to be a guy, like to be a contributor. You drafted him 1st overall, but it's one of the things, and like other than Connor McDavid, because McDavid, I mean, in my lifetime is the best player I've ever saw in the Ontario Hockey League. I mean, there's a lot of good ones for sure, but Connor McDavid's Connor McDavid in my lifetime, like it's McDavid. But I just think that, and John Tavares had that impact too. Oshawa London, Taylor Hall, Tyler Seguin. But the one thing is when these guys, and it always intrigues me, and you always hear from coaches, from general managers around the NHL and the Ontario Hockey League when the guy graduates out of major junior, and we always hear the same thing where in player development, every player who makes, and we've had so many guys make the NHL this year right out of camp for the first time, just being drafted. But every player that's in the Ontario Hockey League that makes the NHL like this is elite. They are elite players. They have the puck all game long. It's their puck. They control the game, rightly so.
Yeah.
But what happens when they go to the pros? They get to learn to play without the puck. How you retrieve pucks on your own. Like a lot of times you see guys in the Ontario Hockey League like that are elite puck possession players, but you just can't figure it out at the next level. Guys are so good in major junior, but they just don't transition to the pros. Well, you got to learn how to play without the puck. And I think that's one of the big things that I'm intrigued about, seeing Michael Misa, every single game he gets in a good goal scoring chance. In major junior, he gets multiple good chances. If he's playing a major junior, he's probably going to get like 4 or 5 really good chances to score a game. Like we saw that last year with Nick Lardis. How many chances did he get a game to score a goal, right? Like Matthew Schaefer at the point. Matthew Schaefer, the power play for Erie would go through Matthew Schaefer. 5-on-5, big crucial situations is going through Matthew Schaefer. Now, and even last year in the NDP versus CHL games, that was dominated by Matthew Schaefer. I remember after the first game in London, all the media members flocking toward Matthew Schaefer. Now it's his time to play without the puck. You earn your stripes, you earn your keeps in the National Hockey League. He's going to get targeted a little bit. It's going to be a thing. Like if he's out there as a sixth defenseman, he's going to play other teams' fourth lines. Like that's going to get you into the NHL. I hope that the body holds out. I hope he's okay. And obviously hope for health, but I'm excited to see what he can do. I really am. I think that he can be a guy that it's exciting to see how good he is without the puck, right? And like being a defensive defenseman at times. I mean, it's going to be interesting how he evolves in his role and evolves in his game here in the pro level. I think he's going to be good. I hope they let him be a skilled guy. And maybe in their coaching, they have that opportunity there too, but it'll be exciting to see what he has.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, for the people watching us on YouTube, for the people listening, we'll just kind of go over it. But Brady Martin in Nashville, again, another team that's not awesome, I guess is the best way to put it.
He spent all that money in flop.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. I'm starting to think this Barry Trotz as a GM thing isn't as successful as a Barry Trotz as a head coach type of thing. Not to say he's done a horrific job. I mean, I'm not sure about the Askarov move, but anyways, and he doesn't have a contract with Luke Evangelista yet. But Brady Martin is getting an opportunity with he is signed.
2 year. Yeah, Evangelista signed Saturday or Friday? Saturday. Yeah, he signed.
I saw their. Oh, for a second I thought you said he sucked, but I assume you said he signed.
Oh, no. Yeah, he signed.
But no, I saw him on the inactive list on Monday for the Predators. That's why I was like, did it actually get done?
2-year deal.
So but it is what it is. Anyways, Luke Evangelista, show guest, not a big deal, but
big ticket,
50 goal scorer in the league. But Brady Martin, good for him. Good for him to get that opportunity. He wasn't even at the draft for a great reason. So good
deserving.
for him. Yeah,
he's so
one guy who
that.
will. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. No kidding. One guy who won't be in the NHL, and this is not to knock him down by any means, but Ben Danford is back with the Oshawa Generals. How long is he there, Wardy? I think that's something that's already started a conversation. Yeah,
depends how the Generals play.
I think a few people don't expect them to be there very long this season, or at least until the trade deadline. But there are a few teams out there that could use a defenseman like Ben Danford.
I love his game. I don't know what the offense is going to be like, but I love his game. I think this kid is going to be a guy that the Leafs kind of need to be that defensive defenseman. Like Ben Danford for instance, you watch Oshawa kill penalties. It's basically like a 5-on-5 when you watch the Oshawa Generals kill penalties, because one side on the weak side is just Ben Danford. And all it is Ben Danford blocking shots, getting in lanes. That's what it is. And I think he plays quote unquote man hockey already at his age. And I'm excited to see what he can do. Shout out to Joel Vanderland out of the Quinny program as well. Ben Danford. I know he'd want me to say that one as well with Danford, but he's a good hockey player. And I'm excited to see what he can do here this year. It's a big year for Danford, right? It's your last year probably in junior hockey. It's a big year to see what you do. in your career. So I think it's a big one. I think he was such a big part of that Oshawa team. He blocks every shot back that's thrown his way. Every single team that wants to go for it this year has to be in on Ben Danford. Such an effective player. I don't think he's going to light up the score sheet. He's not going to run your power play, but he's going to run your penalty kill. And the penalty kill, in my opinion, is a lot more important than the power play because you got to defend to win. So I'm excited to see what he can do in Oshawa or wherever it is, but I think he's going to start in Oshawa.
Yeah. All right, let's get to a couple captains here, and then we'll actually hit a quick break before we come back. But the Sudbury Wolves naming Nathan Villeneuve as their team captain. Guys wearing the A's this season for the Wolves will be Rowan Henderson, Kieran Walton, and Alex Ferrand. Obviously, Villeneuve not playing games yet for the Sudbury Wolves. Seattle Kraken sending him back to Sudbury. However, he is hurt right now. I haven't heard a timeline on when he'll be back, so I'm not going to even poke that bear. But congratulations to Nathan Villeneuve on being named captain, and that's a guy that Sudbury would love to have back in the lineup sooner rather than later. And then the Barrie Colts, a couple of Central Division teams naming their leadership groups this season. So Cole Baudouin and Kashawn Aitchison have been named co-captains for the upcoming season. So both having the C, that's something new-ish, kinda. I guess it's common in school and in college, but in the OHL, it's
London did it with
Marner and
Dvorak and Foodie and Regula.
Right. Yeah, just very uncommon, but I mean,
deserving.
These two guys deserve it, 100%.
Both. I mean, captain of the D, captain of the forwards, I guess, but
yeah, you could say that. Yeah,
I think they're two kind of different players. Like they're both powerful players for sure. They have that in common, but like Aitchison is that big, the bright, the bold. Like the big smile, the infectious personality. When he walks in a room, he lights it up. Which is huge. And Baudouin's just a pro. Not that Aitchison's a pro too, obviously, but like Baudouin's a guy that it feels like don't get anything off the ice. He's a professional, like he's a guy that's locked in. He's dialed into the team. Get options.
Yeah.
That's a tough decision, right? But like,
I know that's one of the ones where it's like, no, I can't pick one. Like it's gotta be both,
truly.
Right? So.
Truly,
Evan Passmore and Brad Gardner will wear the A's for the Colts as well. Just I'll add that too.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. I think that's just a split down the middle. Flip a quarter, you get it for the road, you get it for the home games. Or the jerseys. They're both going to get home and road.
I was going to say, I guess that'll switch halfway through, which we're not huge fans of here on the OHL 60 podcast. Just keep it consistent. But anyways, we'll hit a break. When we come back, still a lot on tap. We're going to talk Windsor. We're going to talk Ottawa. We're going to talk Owen Sound. OHL Players of the Week were announced as well. So we'll touch on that. And then our top 5 to round out the show this week on the OHL in 60 podcast.
Butt ends are hockey stick grips, specifically for the top of the stick, designed to replace traditional clock tape. They're made of rubber and offer a more consistent and comfortable grip than tape, aiming to improve performance and reduce slippage. Butt ends are an alternative to regular stick tape that provide enhanced grip and comfort, are durable, reusable, and consistent with the ability to reduce vibration. The grips are available in a variety of styles, designs, colors, and even have options for specific player names. At Butt Ends, they are committed to providing the world's highest quality stick grips and continue to bring new technology and ideas with each new grip design, regardless of sport. Alex Petrangelo, Akil Thomas, Max Domi, Aiden Hill, and Tim Stutzla are just a name of few who have proudly used Butt Ends for peak performance at the NHL level. Check them out at buttendswithaz.com and use our referral code buttends.com/discount/armchairgm to get 10% off your order as part of our community. Engineered for greatness and performance. Butt Ends, the #1 grip in hockey.
Fourth Wall is the official merchandise supplier of the Armchair GM Sports Network. Our user-friendly site is print to order with no minimum items or inventory needed, shipped right to your doorstep safely and efficiently from their North American warehouse. All of our logos are available to supporters, listeners, and viewers can have the best variety available to them for their swag preferences. All items are priced as low as possible, allowing everybody who wants to support our business with the opportunity to do so, receiving quality and comfortable products in return. Shop today at fourthwall.com with the direct link to our Armchair merch store in the description of all episodes and in the bio of all of our social media accounts. Become an Armchair GM today with Fourth Wall.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Welcome back to the OHL in 60 podcast with Colin Ward. I'm Reece Doumani. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in on your favorite audio platforms, wherever you get your podcasts, and, of course, on YouTube and the Armchair GM Sports Network. We've got a few things to cover in the second segment of this show, and we'll start with the Players of the Week. And the OHL Player of the Week, Kashawn Aitchison, one of two newly named captains for the Barrie Colts. 3 games, he had 5 goals and 1 assist for a total of 6 points. He was also a +7 for the Barrie Colts, who trailed 5-1 in Niagara, came all the way back and won 6-5 in a shootout. So Aitchison takes home Player of the Week. Goaltender of the Week from the Kingston Frontenacs, it is Gavin Betts, 2-0 with a 1 goals against average and a save percentage of .960. That included a shutout for the Kingston netminder, so congratulations to him. Kingston off to a nice start this season, 4-1, 0-1 on the year.
Prioritize goaltending. Second round pick, 37th overall, Gavin Betts, right? Prioritize goaltending. We said it last week. I mean, they moved on from over Adrian Vicari, right? Like, who's been there, who was a mainstay for them for a long time. I mean, you look at his numbers. I mean, that's the excitement, right? When you actually develop and you put time in the process in the goaltending. And plus for Gavin Betts, he gets to play in front of a top 5, in my opinion, defenses to play in front of in the Ontario Hockey League. That system, and system-wise, that is to play in front of. I would love to play in Kingston. Their system's ideal. Like, you know, like you're not going to give up a lot of shots. The Troy man system, it's like a man-on-man. The problem is if a guy loses his man, it's like the Carolina Hurricanes, right? They lose their man, then you got to make some big saves, but I don't mind that, right? At least I know my guys in front of me are engaged, and as a goaltender, you love that. So that's right on. It's going to be intriguing to watch, see a young Gavin Betts. Not very big, 5'11", 174, but we'll see. Like, I was talking to a beat writer for the Red Wings a couple weeks ago about goaltending, and it's funny how goaltending some teams, and for instance, like it wasn't even about the Red Wings, but like how some team, and looking at it, well, yeah, it involves the Red Wings, but you think about like some teams don't even look at a goalie now if they're under 6'3". Like NHL teams, they don't even give you, like, they don't even look at you. But if you're going to put up numbers like that, you're going to get your shot. So hopefully for Gavin Betts, he continues to develop, and I can't wait to watch this guy throughout his career. But what a system to play in front of in Kingston. I mean, wish more people would get to the games, but great spot for Betts to be in, a great situation.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how tall you are, if you have more wins than losses, if you've got 5+ shutouts in a year, if your save percentage is plus 900 plus, if your goals against average is sub 2.5, yeah, you better get a look. So yeah, Gavin Betts was the OHL goaltender of the week. To the rookie of the week in the Ontario Hockey League, a member of the all-name team, it's Nikita Klepov from the Saginaw Spirit. 3 games for him. He had 3 goals and 2 assists for 5 total points. He was also a +1 this week for the Saginaw Spirit, who were in a little bit of a track meet with the Owen Sound Attack. That was a 7-5 game up at the Bayshore. So a lot of goals this weekend, specifically in Owen Sound, because the next day you saw 9 combined between the Owen Sound Attack and the Windsor Spitfires. So a lot of goals early on at the Bayshore, the newly renovated Bayshore, I should say. But Nikita Klepov, a big part of that win, helping his team defeat Owen Sound 7-5 on Saturday.
the bounces are supposed to be gone in Owen Sound, but they had one in the Saginaw game as well. They had a bounce go off of the boards and off a goalie, but the bounces are supposed to be gone at the Bayshore, but they still created one last bounce.
Yeah. You'll get one on occasion, right? The ghost of the Bayshore. It'll spit one out every once in a while.
That creeps in. Yeah.
And then the OHL prospect of the week from the Greater Ontario Hockey League. We're going to go to the Pelham Panthers in our neck of the woods, Brandon. Kind of. Even though you're in the Falls, I'm in St. Catharines. But Liam Edgecombe from the Pelham Panthers played in 2 games. He was 2-0 with 2 shutouts. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. He defeated the Hamilton Kilty Bees 2-0, and then he beat the Welland Junior Canadians 3-0.
Nice, man.
And if your goaltender pitches a shutout, you don't need 8 goals to win a hockey game. So Panthers doing it with 2 and 3 goals because their netminder threw up a donut with, you're right, a very sharp-looking mask there, Wardy.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. That's one of the nicest masks you'll see in the Geo HL. But I think that's a sharp-looking mask. That's one of the nicer ones that you're going to see. Good for Flint to have a goalie here on the radar.
Absolutely. So, next up, we just hit the players of the week, the Windsor Spitfires, Colin. We kind of touched on them a little bit last week. We're going to continue on because they tied their franchise record for a start to a season at 7-0. It was a 4-3 shootout win over the Brantford Bulldogs on Saturday. And in October, I don't know if it's possible to have the best game of the year. I mean, that's a pretty good candidate for the game of the year between the Bulldogs and Spitfires. I mean, a lot of people have both of those teams in the finals for the second time, in 5 years, math. But the Spitfires now 7-1. They did lose to Owen Sound on Sunday, but that game on Saturday, Colin, did not disappoint, and you saw the effect of how big the defense was for the Windsor Spitfires. They're aggressive at their own blue line. On the penalty kill, they're forcing you to the outside hard. They're forcing you back to the point really hard.
Penalty kill's aggressive.
Yeah, it did leave quite a bit of room in the middle of their own zone if somebody found their way in behind the defense. But I think it's just so intimidating for an opposition player where if you more than likely both defensemen on the ice are 6 feet or taller. And for the Bulldogs, they don't have the tallest roster. They've got their fair share of 6-foot guys or taller, but you think of some of the stars. Adam Bannock is 5'9" or 5'10", I believe. Even Lucas Moore, when he jumps into the play, that's a guy that's under 6 feet tall. So you look at the Spitfires, see, that's intimidating for an opposition when you see their defense. And again, I'm not surprised they're 7-0. The fact that the majority of those 8 games were without Spellacy and Greentree, and they were very present in that game on Saturday. Yeah. So were Belchez and Nesbitt as well. But this Windsor Spitfires team is built very well, right from Joey Costanzo to center, through their defense and through their forward group. It'll be interesting to see what they do in terms of trades throughout the season because, yes, can they improve in some areas? Sure, but there's not a lot of flaws with the Windsor Spitfires. Maybe, again, leaving the middle of the ice open on the penalty kill isn't ideal because they are so aggressive. But
it's going to happen in the diamond, though.
It's also they're still effective. Like, Bulldogs never got a pass through the middle. Never did. So, yeah, that's also part of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're aggressive on the penalty kill. They're penalty kill, and they're so big. Like, they get in lanes. Like, it's effortless. Like, you might think it's not there, and then boom, the 6'6" tree trunk reaches out on the back end, and there's a poke check the puck out to center. Their team, I mean, they smother you at the blue line. They're like a funnel at the blue line. They suck you through the middle, and then you got to kick out, and they're going to be good. It's interesting to see what their needs are going to be later on in the year. I mean, they're still figuring out their roster. Only a couple of games with Greentree in the mix, Spellacy as well. Cole Davis set a big start for the season for them. I mean, with his speed, Belchez is developing really well for them. I'm sure they got to be excited about what Belchez is bringing to the table in Windsor. I mean, Carson Whittle, what he's doing. I mean, talk about an underrated start to the season, 10 points in their first 8 games for the defenseman. Those are games that's huge. I mean, Cristoforo coming back, who I have for defenseman of the year in the Ontario Hockey League. I think that Windsor, I mean, their depth is really good. This team's going to be good. They're set up for success. Hopefully they can get a 2 goalie effort for this early on in the year. I mean, Costanzo, you're going to ride him all year, but remember what happened in London with Brett Brochu when you get into the finals. It's a different animal. So we'll see what happens here with Costanzo, but you're going to need a second guy to step up to here in the dog days of November. When you get to November, another month from now, and the momentum and then the games kind of slow down a little bit because excitement level's gone. I'm just new to the year. It'll be interesting to see how they go through those steps. But Windsor they play to their coach. Coach. They're loud, they're big, they're strong, they like to attack. They're a offensive heavy team. I mean, when they get the puck on their own blue line, when they get the puck on an outlet, they're thinking to score right away. They're thinking they're going over the opponent blue line with authority. They're coming in. They play too high all the time, the neutral zone, and that's one thing that's going to be interesting. I think the Bulldogs had a lot of chances off that as well on Saturday, especially early on. Javetsky's goal on the snapshot using the defenseman, he had too high forwards that got caught on Windsor. I mean, it's not a man rush with the defenseman the other way for the Bulldogs. That's how it goes in the back of your net. But I think Windsor's going to be really good. I'm excited to see what they can do. I mean, right now, I think there's 2 teams that really stand out still. Not that Owen Sound's not playing their way in there in Ottawa with their start, but it's 4 games, right? But I think that this is going to be exciting to see how this Windsor process keeps developing here for Greg Walters and staff.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of the Ottawa 67s, that's where we're going next. Again, strange, they've only played 4 games. Very light start to their schedule. They're 4-0 heading into this week's action, but they've only given up 7. They're the 7 goals, I mean. They're the only team to allow 10 goals or less so far. And again, 4 games, read into that what you will, but the Ottawa 67s, special team numbers aren't awesome. I mean, 15% isn't terrible. 75% on the PK isn't horrendous. PK was a huge struggle for them last year, but for the 67s, I mean, everything's clicking right now. And I know there are a few discussions about whether Cameron was going to last the year in a contract year. What was the direction they're going to take? Is Ottawa going to really be that bad? And again, it's 4 games. We're not reading in too much. We could consider this an overreaction segment. But the Ottawa 67s are clicking early in the season. We're going to see them in person Sunday, Colin. They're in Brantford at the TD Civic Center. So we'll get to see what this team is not on camera. We'll get to see the full picture. But what do you make of the 67s start? And then we'll get to their crazy schedule coming up. As you can see it on there, they begin a stretch where they're on the road for 8 of 9.
Well, number one, early year recipe for success early on in the season, 3 or less goals, right? You look at their most recent game on October 4th against Erie. They win 4-1. You give up 1 goal. You give up 1 goal, you're gonna win 90% of the games, 95% of the games in the Ontario Hockey League if you give up 1 goal in a game. 3 goals, you're gonna give yourself a 50-50 shot. You score 7 goals. Well, no problem, right? 3-1 over North Bay and 6-2 to start the season over Kingston, right? 3 or less goals every night. That's the name of the game in the Ontario Hockey League. You can do that. You're gonna win games. You look at their lineup, though. They have a lot of household names. You look at their lineup right now, and you look at the points that they have in their lineup. Multiple guys have 4 points. Multiple guys have 5 points. They're getting contributions from everyone right now. I mean, you look at their point leader in Vandenberg. Like, you get a guy that comes into the Ontario Hockey League, they're playing well like that. That's huge for your success. It's going to be interesting, but to be honest, I was kind of kicking myself this week on the Dogcast recently. We were previewing this game for the Bulldogs audio network, and I was kind of upset about myself for having them ranked where I did at the beginning of the year, because I look at their roster, right? And this is one of those things where we talk about where predictions early on in the year are tough. You get Cooper Foster, you get these guys back, and I'm thinking, well, Foster's a menace to play on the forecheck. He can be a pain in the butt when he's on. I mean, on the forecheck in that Dave Cameron system of hockey, they're not going to take a lot of penalties. If you take a lot of penalties in the Dave Cameron system, you're not going to play. It's just simple. And we talked about this before. Dave Cameron is a coach in the Ontario Hockey League, and I've been critical of Dave Cameron 1,000%. I own that for sure. Mostly on his World Junior takes, not much with Ottawa, because I like what he's done with the 67s. Mostly it's a World Junior, but anyways, that's in the past tense. But you look at Dave Cameron, and he's the type of coach that if you're an agent and you're in his ear about playing 14 minutes a night, well, then okay, you just don't play. If you don't play the system of the way the Ottawa 67s hockey is meant to be played in Dave Cameron's system, he's your coach, you just don't play. And I think that that's why you kind of have to accept the ability to play in that system. It's a tough system to play in, but it's a strategic system. It's very hands-on. It's one of those areas where you got to be engaged in the fine details. If you lack fine details in Dave Cameron's system, and think back to a couple of years ago even, when they did that behind the barber poles, and you see the in-depth talks from Dave Cameron, it's always the same thing about the details, right? The details in our game lacked tonight, or details in their game were good tonight, win and loss. That's the difference. That's one thing I really like about Dave Cameron. He's very detail-oriented. Hey, we talked with Ottawa before in the past. Ottawa 67s don't do the drop-off on their power play. Why? Well, we have an easy time defending it on our penalty kill, so why would we do it on our power play, right? Common sense. I think that's why Dave Cameron is the type of coach in the Ontario Hockey League. Love him or hate him, he's a great coach in this league because he's a coach that sticks to the details. And for development in the Ottawa 67s organization, that is a great organization to develop your game and to become a pro in. And that's why I think that their success has been automatic. I mean, they look good. They have 2 tough games this week with Barrie and Brampton. Obviously, the road games are coming up here. Those are tough games, but I'm very intrigued on seeing Friday night in Brampton. I'm very intrigued by that game. Barrie is going to be interesting for sure Thursday. I'm not overlooking that game because that's a tough game 100%. But Brampton, Ottawa were 2 teams at the beginning of the year, Reece, where we're thinking like these 2 teams are kind of similar, like I don't know. I don't have high expectations for these teams, but you never know. Like James Richmond, I've counted them off before to finish 10th place, and all of a sudden they finish 5th. Like, that's like, you can find a way to tinker with your defense. There's smart, adaptive coaches that can kind of reach something here, defensively. They can take space away, and all of a sudden they win a game 2-1. I'm excited to see what that game matches up as, because that's kind of a measuring stick game for me personally. And then if they're successful, these 2 games, obviously Sunday on paper, if the Bulldogs are successful throughout the week, that is too, could be a fun game to watch on Sunday, because you don't know what it's going to be. It's a measuring stick game again. This year in the league, every week is measuring stick week. You might as well name the show this week Measuring Stick, because that's kind of what the league is right now. No one knows what each other is. You're watching teams constantly to see, this is what they do. Tendencies. And I just think Ottawa, they're in a good groove right now. You're feeling good. They haven't played a lot of games. They're rested, but hey, now it's the battle of the rested here as you come in on this road trip, right? And you got to be successful. How's it going to go?
Yeah. Did you get that, Brandon? Name of the show? BC?
Sure did.
That'd be
Measuring Stick.
There you go, Wardy.
The first, what, 2 months is Measuring Stick months in the Ontario Hockey League, and then you get to a game in January where there's supposed to be 2 good teams, and then it's a Measuring Stick.
Yeah, I mean, minus week 1. I think you can throw week 1 out of that. But the next 6 to 7.
Even then,
sure, because
the odd.
Because but that game, yes, we look at the schedule and we're like, hey, all right, Kitchener, Brantford early on, those are really 2 good teams. Awesome, sweet. Yeah, 20 guys are out of the lineup. So then it's an anticipated game because geographically the 2 teams are close and fans can travel fairly easily between Kitchener and Brantford. I say fairly because driving in Kitchener is a little spotty. It is, depending on the time, but
the wrong turn in Waterloo.
It's not the feeling at the beginning where like, oh, the schedule's released, nice, Kitchener, Brantford, let's go. Whereas you see 20 guys are out of the line, but you're like, oh, okay, Kitchener, Brantford, cool, geographic rivals, nice.
I had a great talk with Josh Brown pregame and throughout the game about what could have been. It's kind of the what could have been game, the depth. Always great to talk to those guys. It's the what could have been in that game, I think, is the big one. The one that got away is a fun one. They left us at the altar there. That one in the NHL teams did.
Oh, man.
But it's exciting. Definitely November they come to Civic Center, so that'll be fun.
Yeah. And for anyone looking or watching us on YouTube, you can see Ottawa's schedule there. That is from January 18th to February 22nd. They play 12 of 13 at home. That's over a month of 12 home games and 1 on the road. That 1 game on the road being in Peterborough. But they're schedule's interesting. You don't really have a weekend of 2 home games and then a road game, or 2 road games and then a home game. And again, Ottawa's east compared to everywhere else. They're the most eastern team. So you're going to get some trips and some stretches like this. But 12 of 13 at home.
Balance.
Holy crap. Yeah, balanced schedule. You're absolutely right. So, and even we were looking at a couple schedules, because even on the Brantford Bulldogs schedule, Tuesday, December 30th at 4 p.m. against the Erie Otters. A Tuesday game at 4. Now, we got the explanation on that. The Bulldogs usually travel on the 30th to Erie to get ready for a New Year's Eve game, which has been the case for the last number of years, where they've played in Erie at 6 o'clock on December 31st. So we've been told that's the explanation behind that. But still, at 4 o'clock on a Tuesday, people don't get the 30th off. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think they do. I
Not
don't.
many. Yeah.
But so
New Year's in Erie above 21 with a little bit of Yingling might be a little fun too. So
that'll be
that might be a little fun there.
So
yeah, how you doing?
In other words, road trip.
Oh yeah, yeah. Discovered Kingston last year. Yeah. I love
it. I love Erie. I've only been to that arena once, but I thought it was spectacular. I loved it. I love that building. And that was back when Aaron Cooney was around. He'd be like baking stuff for the media room too. Like that was cool. Top notch. So haven't been back since Aaron has been gone, but I'm a really big fan of that arena, and I'm kicking myself for not seeing an Erie Seawolves game yet. That is a huge fine against me. I have never been to Erie to see a baseball game. So I'm gonna take that one on the chin. If Max Clark starts in AA, you bet I'm going next year. Man, people listening to this probably have no idea who Max Clark is, but he's a stud. But if he starts in AA along with McGonigal, I'm going. I got it.
Wait till they call him up to Toledo and they can play in Buffalo. Probably all 3 games right there.
Good point. But hopefully Buffalo would have Canadian at par for that. That'd be nice. But and then the Owen Sound Attack are the last team we wanted to touch on. And again, it's another team where we've talked about them for a couple of weeks in a row. But if you continue to play well and have success, we're going to talk about you. You just gotta. And with Owen Sound this week, they had an opportunity to play all 3 goaltenders, rightfully saving Carter George for Sunday against the Windsor Spitfires. And well, look what happened. The Owen Sound Attack handed Windsor their first loss of the new season. And we knew nobody's going 68-0. Ottawa's the last undefeated team. Now, the Bulldogs have not lost in regulation yet. They are 3-0-2 or 3-0-1-1 on the OHL standings, which I don't like that category. My just personal opinion, but
shootout overtime difference.
Yeah. But the Owen Sound Attack are, they've scored 29 goals in 7 games. They've given up 23, so goal differential isn't awesome early on. It's not like Windsor's 36th and 13, but your special teams are clicking early. That's huge for Owen Sound. If you can keep that consistent throughout the year, who knows where they're going to end up. 28.6 on the power play, 86.2 on the penalty kill. You do have the highest amount of penalty minutes in the Western Conference, which, your penalty kill is good enough, so it hasn't really mattered that much early on in the season. Whereas you get into the middle part of the year, it might become an issue if you start being in the penalty box for too many times. But right now, the Owen Sound Attack are playing really well, and it's exciting. And yes, it's not a new building, but I think the Attack are making it feel like one. Obviously, you mentioned you're not supposed to have the bounce off the boards anymore. They got one. A bunch of changes made, a bunch of renovations to the Bay Shore. Just kind of feels like a little bit of a reset for the Owen Sound Attack and the franchise in the building and on the ice. And that little community in Owen Sound right off of Lake Huron playing some good hockey right now.
Yeah.
I know the Chi-Chi-Mon will be parked there. If it's not parked there, across the canalway from the Bay Shore eventually. I know that's where it sits in the winter, but they're a heavy ship coming at the Western Conference this year. So it's been a fun start for the Owen Sound Attack. I don't think I've used the word fun enough. We could probably have a drinking game the amount of times I've said it, but it's a fun team through 7 games.
Yeah, they are. They got guys playing their best hockey. early on in the year. I know it's early, so that's one thing, but they got guys playing the best hockey they could have played so far in their OHL careers. I'm speaking on Noah Roberts, for instance. Those guys are playing good hockey. Braden Rogers, they've come to play. They've had a good camp, obviously. They've had a good off season. That's what a good off season does. Gets you ready, get up, get a little jump on the season. So shout out to them. I mean, those guys, they look good. Their veterans look good, and I mean, it kind of fits the system, right? And it's funny, for instance, I mean, 5 points in his first 7 games. Mason Ray, BC, you saw him in Niagara. We saw him in Brantford. I mean, this could be the best hockey Mason Ray's playing. I know he's in his dad's system there, but no pun intended. But like this is definitely the best stretch of hockey he's played in his OHL career. I know Reece and I like in Brantford, like small sample size in Niagara too. Like this has to be.
Yeah, Mason Ray is again, he's a guy that's not. You don't expect coming into a season he's going to score 30 goals, he's going to get 100 points or whatever, but at least this start, he's quietly, proving why he's supposed to be in the lineup. And again, he was a bubble guy for Brantford for sure. He was in and out and wasn't getting consistent minutes. Changed a little bit going to Niagara, but in Owen Sound, it seems like he's thriving. And again, there's familiarity, like you had mentioned, Morty,
which is huge.
But and that helps a little bit, or a lot of it. But he's had a nice start, and that's exciting too, because that's a guy you cheer for, right? You've got your stars that are going to go on to the NHL, but it's the Bulldogs need a new best golfer. Joshua Avery took that over from Mason Ray, and now they need a new one with Avery being shipped to Brampton. So
balls in their court. They have Owen Sound has a lot of guys up for the Cy Young right away too. You got Sikora, 4 goals, 1 assist. I was going over the notes for the game Thursday. What to expect with the Bulldogs, for instance, with Niagara and Ethan Zada with the Cy Young. Obviously, he's thriving in that system right now in the system that they have going in Niagara. A guy like Zada is going to thrive in that, but it's funny. There's going over the notes. There's a lot of guys in the Cy Young early on in the year. You see guys that get hat tricks or whatever. And all of a sudden, when you only play 5 to 8 games, I mean, you have a hat trick one night. Well, there's a Cy Young candidation. So it's always that fun time of the year to point out Cy Young candidates just 7 games in. Yeah.
One guy you don't see is Captain David Bedkowski either, back from the Buffalo Sabres.
Right. Yeah, he'll actually miss their first game of the weekend coming up due to a 1-game suspension. So that's something to look out for as well. That presence that won't be there for a game for the Owen Sound Attack. He is due back on October 11th, so that'll be Saturday.
And he's going to drag them into the fire there too, which is a night for Owen Sound hockey. He's going to drag them right into the fire. He's a good player. Buffalo got a good one there. He's a guy that's going to bring you every night. I like those types of players.
Yeah. So, or actually, sorry, I lied. He missed the game on Sunday. Ignore me. He did not play on Sunday. That was his 1 game because their next game is the 11th. So, ignore what I said. Good one, Reece. Yeah.
You're good.
I'm having a day. But let's get to the power rankings, and that's how we'll wrap up this week's edition of the OHL in 60 podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see it pop up on your screen. If you're listening, we'll run through it quickly here. The Sarnia Sting up 1 spot. They're number 16. Brampton up 1 to number 15. Saginaw does not move. They're the 14th ranked team. Oshawa Generals down 1 spot to number 13. They swap with Guelph, who moves up 1 to number 12. London Knights do not move. They've got their first couple of wins on the season. They are now they are still number 11. North Bay Battalion down 1 spot to number 10 as they flip with Barrie, who moves up 1 to number 9. Next 2 teams did not move. 8, the Ottawa 67s. 7, the Sioux Greyhounds. Niagara Ice Dogs, despite collecting half the points possible, 3 out of 6, they moved down 3 spots. That includes a blowout loss in Windsor and a 5-1 blown lead against Barrie, and almost a blown lead against the Sarnia Sting, up 4-0 and won 4-3. So Kingston Frontenac's up 1 spot. They're number 5. Owen Sound up 1 spot to number 4. Kitchener up 1 spot to number 3. And then the top 2 teams, as expected, do not move. They could have easily flip-flopped. I'm sure if Brantford wins the game against Windsor, they probably do. But they're essentially neck and neck the way we watched that game. So Brantford is number 2. Windsor is number 1, which brings us to our top 5 this week. Colin, you have the box. T-box is yours. You're up first.
All right, number 5 for me. I mean, it's only 4 games, so it's a small sample size, but I think they deserve to be in this nod. You start off 4-0, the Ottawa 67s. It's hard, right, when they played 4 and Windsor's played 8. Like, so
Yeah,
I'm going to keep them in the 4 spot or at the 5 spot in Ottawa.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I've got them one higher. Number 5 for me right now are the Kings of Frontenac's. I thought they've had one heck of a start. They're on a 5-game point streak right now. Penalty kill has been good to start. They're a very disciplined team under Troy Mann. They've got the second least amount of penalty minutes so far throughout their first 6 games. So they've impressed me quite a bit, and Gavin Betts is a big part of that, obviously helping them get to this mark. But I've got Kingston at number 5.
Perfect. Number 4?
Number 4.
Number 4 for me, the Kitchener Rangers. Kitchener, when everything settled down, I mean, they're going to go up from this. But the Rangers, to me, are the 4 spot.
Number 4, I've got Ottawa. Not really any other reasons than you mentioned, Colin. Again, 4 games compared to, like you said, Windsor's played 8, Sioux's played 8. There's a number of teams that have played 7. Ottawa's just got to catch up. But 4-0 is good enough to get you 4th on my list. So who's number 3 for you?
3 for me, the Owen Sound Attack. They're playing the best hockey they've played in a long time. In my eyes, I think their goaltending is the best goaltending trio in the Ontario Hockey League. Yeah. I think that they're going to get Bedkowski back. The way they're playing, they're the 3rd best team right now.
Yeah, I agree. I've got Owen Sound too. You're absolutely right. Their goaltenders have been really good to start. Their special teams, like we just mentioned previous to this, have been really good. And again, you'd love to see the penalty minutes maybe start to slow down a little bit, but other than that, they're playing really good hockey in front of their fans. And so they're number 3. I couldn't agree with you more, Wardy. Who's number 2?
2, Brantford. Neck and neck, the 2 best teams on paper, in my opinion, just went neck and neck. And I mean, you can split it both ways. It went in a shootout. Like, when you go to the skills competition, it's like a tie. It felt like being there. It felt like it was a tie game. Like, it was weird. But I think 2, Brantford.
Yeah, I've got Brantford at number 2 as well. That's a game that you want to get rid of the shootout and just have them keep playing overtime.
Keep them going.
It was a really good hockey game. Shots were 38-31 Brantford. 7 shot difference doesn't mean a whole lot in this situation. The teams were neck and neck. They were very tight the entire game. Windsor goes up 3-1. Brantford fights back to tie it and then get to the shootout. But that's a game you wanted no shootout. You just want a continuous overtime. But right now I think the Spitfire is just a little bit ahead of the Bulldogs, but it's very close. So Brantford's number 1 or number 2 for me. Pretty obvious who's number 1. Colin Ward, you can go ahead.
The Windsor Spitfires. They're a wagon. Them and Brantford. I don't think there's any. I think right now it's their ballpark. Things are going to change though. Teams are going to go through slumps. Teams are going to go through adversity, and that's where we're going to see how good Windsor is. But Windsor right now is the best team in the Ontario Hockey League.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. It's wild to think of the 13 goals they've allowed, 6 of those went in one game. It's wild. They lost 6-3 in Owen Sound. That's 6 out of 13. You take that game away, 7 goals allowed in 7 games. Pretty good for the Windsor Spitfires, who have a power play over 35% and a penalty kill over 87%. So they've been pretty damn good, to say the least. So Colin's list goes Windsor, Brantford, Owen Sound, Kitchener, Ottawa. That is 1 to 5. I've got Windsor, Brantford, Owen Sound, Ottawa, Kingston, 1 to 5. If you don't agree with us or you agree with us, you can let us know. We're on every social media platform as the OHL in 60 podcast. That is Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I think that's all of them, the main ones. All the ones that people care about, probably. And that wraps us up for another week of the OHL in 60 podcast. It was a fun one. We were looking at topics today, trying to get ready for the show, and in terms of news, it was a fairly light week. Other than
Yeah, it
trades,
was.
there were 4 of them, so that helps. But other than that, it was a light news week. What's that, BC?
The NHL camps news.
Right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
helps for sure.
NHL camps really accelerated the things going into profiles on that. Starting to learn systems of some teams.
Sure.
Some teams are still learning systems. It's interesting. One more thing I want to mention. It's interesting, Reece, Nate Villeneuve with the Instagram video. Whenever he's back this weekend, he post a video. I think
for
he's
another
back.
3-3, that would be a gift from God for the Sudbury Wolves. 2 3-3s in the first 4 weeks.
But you get your
Like,
captain
man.
back.
Yeah, that's
it.
That would be huge.
Yeah. So hopefully that's some good news to end the show on for Wolves fans. All those weeks burying them, and then you get that. You're welcome.
Programming alert for next week.
Yeah, BC. Yeah, you're on that. I totally would have forgot. Next week is Thanksgiving. There's a solid chance I'm in Windsor. So that means I'm not available for a show. BC has his family dinner. He is not available for a show. Mr. Ward, are you in the Delhi, Ontario? I believe you are.
Oh yeah. I'm always mentally in the Delhi, Ontario. And speaking of the Delhi, Ontario, Friday night, good luck to the Raiders. Friday Night Lights against Holy Trinity in Simcoe. But obviously it's in Delhi. Friday Night Lights, home game, pack the school. I'm pumped. Let's go Raiders. The Delhi, Ontario. Let's show them who the Delhi, Ontario is. We've always been the capital of Norfolk County, and I don't see that changing Friday night. Let's go, baby. Pumped. The Delhi, Ontario.
So does that mean you're missing Bulldogs Wolves to go watch that game?
No, but I'm going to have it on my phone. I will have that on my phone.
Man,
100%. I will have it on my phone.
That's a sign of a poor former Delhi guy. Come on,
I'll have it on my phone. Duty's call.
Is that not the game in high school in your neck of the woods?
The game in Delhi is like the Ohio State Buckeyes. Every game is every team's national championship is against them, and that's just the respect you have when you go to the best school in the Norfolk County. The Delhi, Ontario is the capital, and I just can't wait to showcase that. Every year, every team's best comes into Delhi thinking they're going to win, and then boom, hearts are broken just like that. Can't wait. Very excited. Number 4, Bobby Orr. For those on YouTube, Reece is holding up a 4. What's that supposed to mean? The 4 national championships Ohio State has since Michigan's
4
last
straight years.
Yeah, you know
Plant
what?
the flag.
Last year, yeah,
man, what's with that? I thought Ohio banned planting flags, and then Jose Ramirez did it in Cleveland. What's with that?
Hey, I don't like.
You guys are pretenders.
Well, to be honest,
you don't follow through.
Well,
I've got another word, but I'm not going to say it.
Well, I got some words too that I could say, but I think that cameraman Stallions being out just showcases everything when Michigan loses to USC this week as underdogs at home. That's wild. I know they're on the road.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, eh?
Yeah.
No, they're in USC because they're practicing at the Chargers facility this week while they're on the road. So
if I'm USC, I am all over the security footage in that venue. I don't trust Harbaugh, obviously, but Broncos win.
There.
But Broncos win. It's a good week. Philadelphia fans, I'm sorry that the Broncos didn't have 155 penalty yards against them instead of 125.
Oh, man. 55. Oh, no.
My apologies. I understand. I understand that it should be 100 more yards in favor of you than 50. I understand that. But, hey, maybe don't blow a 17-point lead to Bo and Co. And, hey, you can do all your flying in Philly, but, hey, I'd rather be riding in Broncos country. All right, I'm good. Let's go OHL. Go Jays.
That concludes this week's show. Oh, you had to throw that in there. Sorry, BC. I thought there were rules. Apparently not.
There are rules, but
that's just go Jays.
Go Tigers. But
the Yankees will be eliminated by the time this comes out, I'm sure.
Probably. That'll do it for this week's show of the OHL in 60 podcast. For the listeners, thanks so much for tuning in. For everyone watching on YouTube, we always appreciate it. especially with us doing it this year. It's been awesome. So hope you continue to enjoy it, and we'll enjoy some more OHL action coming up this week and this weekend. So for Colin Ward, NBC, I'm Reece Doumani. Because of our show not being on the air next week, we will chat again in 14 days.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.